Doing the Easter eggs and predictions for Season 5, Episode 11 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Superhero. Spoilers are not caught up, plus the promo for the 100th episode. So, in this episode, we meet the character Ruby, and she's basically it seems like a typical bratty rebel teenager that doesn't like her parent, but there's more to her that we actually meet later on. And when we first meet her, she's sitting in a room, and we see that she's obsessed with Daisy Johnson, and she has a poster of a Town rockers, and it's a reference to a Marvel comic where it's about a band that has no superpowers and they deal with drugs and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, and I don't know if that's a hint at somewhere we're going in the future episodes, but I highly doubt it. And I know I'm probably stretching here. I don't think I've ever talked about it on YouTube here, but whenever I see Ruby's shirt, it always looks like that she's wearing a shirt with the bus on it. I don't know why. It just looks like the bus that's on that shirt. And we don't know if Ruby is based on a comic book character or not, similar to how Sky was Daisy and Mike is Deathlock. But it's possible that she's actually the female version of Taskmaster, and there's a female Taskmaster in the comics, as far as I know. And it was never revealed of her identity, so they could take a lot of liberties here. But just the way that she presented herself, and she anticipated how and when Yo-Yo was going to run, and she caught off her arms. It just felt like she knew exactly when to do it, and that's a lot. That's as far as I know, is that's how Taskmaster's abilities work. He knows when, he knows the next move of his opponents. So it just felt like that. I don't know if that's stretching there or not, but yeah. And the only other possibility that I thought of, that I don't know why, but when it was revealed that Ruby was actually in like a prison room, was that it's maybe she's like a different version of Black Widow. I don't know why, but it's possible. Yeah, and I knew Deke was gonna return, but I hinted at that I had a theory that wasn't gonna come true. But my theory was that Deke was actually going to be sent back to the the past, but further on not where our Shield team is, and was going to be like the creator of the lighthouse, and it was going to turn out to be Patrick Warburton's character that was hinted at in the promo for this episode. But that's not the case here. In this, General Rick Stoner is Patrick Warburton's character, and he is a comic book character, and he was once he was the first director of Shield, as far as I know, and he died, but then he was presumed dead, but then came back to life and stuff like that. So it's possible that Shield could do something here and have Patrick Warburton back Patrick Warburton in present day, but I don't know. But talking about Deke, I do like that they have parallel here, because Deke is now unfamiliar about his surroundings, similar to how our Shield team and us were unfamiliar about the future. And they have similar comments and experiences here, where it's like Deke has an interaction with this lady, and she thought he was on drugs, and when Deke was talking to Coulson in the first episode, he says, "Are you high on something or something like that? And can I have some?" So I do like that parallel, and the parallels keep going through his story, where he gets arrested, similar to how the Shield team gets captured or whatever, and Deke has to bail them out, and Daisy here has to bail out Deke, and they have like similar interaction where Deke is trying to get our Shield team to say something, and Daisy's trying to get Deke to say something, so it sounds like they know each other. So yeah, and I do appreciate that they referenced the fact that Deke has a framework bar in his place where he used to grow up, or he grew up. Uh, but yeah, and in the lighthouse, we see that they have three separate monoliths. The time one, that's the white one that we're using this season. Then a one that has like swirls around on it, and it's possibly a reality, like it can bend reality and shape reality as it sees fit. And it's possible that's how they're going to have the 100th episode, where people from past, present, and future and all that kind of stuff comes in and wreak havoc. Uh, so yeah, but the first one was that it's a black one, and a lot of people are saying that it's the space one where it was sent to Maveth. It's possible. Not saying it isn't, but I just don't know why that. I don't know why Kree would create a second monolith, so that does the same properties. So I don't know why, but yeah, and I do appreciate the fact that the Shield writers gave a shout out to their fans, with the line where May says, "We have a small but active fan base," and they have another line that's very similar to a past line where the Chromicon we meet Noah, who is a biblical name, similar to Enoch, where he says they monitor the line between the world and a stranger world, something along the line, and it's very similar to how was called Ward was called said the world between the stranger world or something like that, or weirder world. So yeah, and they say that they're monitoring threats and all that kind of stuff, and they say that there's an Asgard spotted in the city, and a lot of people are saying this is a Ragnarok reference. It's possible that it probably is, but since they're talking about monitoring threats and all that kind of stuff, I don't know why Thor would be a threat. Maybe they're talking about Loki or Hela, but yeah, and they're discussing how they can get out of the lighthouse and not be seen by the government and all that kind of stuff. And they're talking about there's tunnels in this lighthouse that go all across the city and all that kind of stuff. And Simmons says it's like an Agatha Christie novel. And Agatha Christie writes mystery novels, so yeah. And but then Max says more like Crud. I want to say Crud. I want to say it is, and it's a horror movie about a monster in the sewers. So yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be foreshadowing any events in the next couple episodes, but yeah. And I kind of do like that they're playing around with this, I guess now, is the fact that when we had Lance Hunter back, but we never saw Bobby, and in this episode, they actually do reference Hunter, but we find out that our Shield team is now Most Wanted, and if you don't remember, back a couple years ago, it was called ABC wanted to spin off Bobby and Hunter into a Most Wanted series, but that never went through. So I do I like that shout out there, kind of maybe. But yeah, and for predictions now, is that was the Kree Beacon a misdirect? Because it's not like they say that the light in the sky and aliens is what I heard, as Voss said, and then hell broke loose. Maybe as of right now, it's a misdirect, and the Kree will show up, but not until the last like 3 episodes of the season. Similar to how Jiaying was not the villain until the last 2-3 episodes of the season. So it's possible. I don't know if they're gonna do that here, but yeah. And I do like that they reintroduced the Kree Beacon and reintroduced Piper in the same episode, because Piper was introduced in the episode where the Kree came to Earth. So yeah, and apparently Hale is creating a super team, and it's most likely consisting of Ruby and Absorbing Man as of right now, and maybe Blizzard. I'm just that's a prediction right now, because we don't know if he's dead. He froze. He froze. He might be still alive, but speaking of the Asgardian spotted in the city, I really want to see Lorelei come back because she was a cool villain, and to see her be working with a team, I want to see that. Uh, and so speaking of returning characters and stuff like that, in the 100th episode, we know that Hive is returning and Lash is returning, simply because of the promo for the 100th episode, and it's possible that there were what's called foreshadowing the events now in this episode, where they have an interaction in the van where they're listing off like different events and all that kind of stuff, talking about the alien enslaved by an alien, trapped in a virtual world, stuck on the bottom of the ocean, a crazy robot lady falling out of a plane, fighting Daisy's mom, fighting Daisy's dad, or dancing. It's possible that these events are going to show up in the 100th episode. So I was thinking maybe Coulson is going to have to deal with Tahiti, because in the promo we see like him getting tortured on like a bed or whatever. Maybe he's reliving that event, and maybe Hive is for Coulson because he was the one that created or let Hive onto Earth. And in the what's called the 100th party that had a lot of people show up from past seasons, Roslyn was there. Maybe she's going to show up. The cellist was there, Audrey Nathan. Maybe she's going to show up for Coulson. For Daisy, like they said, Daisy's dad, Cal, maybe shows up. Jia Ying, Daisy's mom. In the promo, we see a Saint nun, so maybe Saint Agnes nun, the orphanage that Daisy went at. And then we see like an LMD. We don't know exactly who it is. It's possible that it's an LMD Daisy. So yeah. For May, she says dancing. Maybe it's going to be a sweet moment, because we haven't really dealt with their like emotions yet about how Coulson and May care about each other really. And then we see Lash. She's obviously most likely going to be dealing with that. For Simmons, the Chitauri virus that made her fall out of the sky, follow the sky in the first place. And now if it is the fact that we're bringing back the black monolith at space, maybe she's being gone. Maybe she was teleported back to Maveth or something like that. And then talking about this alien sociopath, Cassius maybe. And for Mac, the framework, that would be a tortured Mac, and maybe Hope. Hope is there. For Fitz, obviously the Ada, that was bad. Ada for him. And then the bottom of the ocean scene maybe. For Yo-Yo, we haven't really seen these events. Maybe what Yo-Yo's or the seer from last episode was predicting was that, or telling Yo-Yo was about actually this, and she was not actually going to lose Mac at this instance, but she's probably going to relive this event in her own memory or whatever. So maybe that's possible. And for Deke, the Kree obviously, and possible the last like other ones that are random. Deathlock, Patriot, Enoch, Flint, Ghost Rider, and Sonaria, and Ward maybe. So comment down below if I missed any Easter eggs or references, or any people you want like for predictions. See ya.